This is my 2003 Monte Carlo SS. The brakes are bad, the exhaust is very loud, it's covered in dog hair, and it has a bunch of service lights. But I bought it anyways just to show you guys how I turned $1,100 into $4,200. The first step to flipping this car was to make it stop yelling at me. So we got it up to the muffler shop, got it up in the air to figure out where the noise is coming from. Once we identified the problem, we fixed the problem. It sounds way better than what it sounded before. So step one is complete, and that set us back $200. Our second step is to service the brakes. First thing we want to do is take the cap off the master cylinder. This is going to help reduce any air get into the brake lines. Make sure the car is jacked up and the wheels taken off. Now we can service the brakes. Servicing the brakes is fairly easy. First thing you want to do is remove the caliper. Once you got the caliper taken off by the two bolts, remove the caliper. Once you got the caliper taken off, you can remove the old brake pads and install the new brake pads. Before you put the new brake pads in, make sure you grease them up on the back side only. Once you got the caliper put back in place, you can get ready to take off the rotor. To take the rotor off, you need to remove the caliper housing. This is going to remove the whole caliper assembly out the way so you can pull the rotor off, push the new rotor on, and then reinstall the caliper housing. Once you got that done, it's simple and you're done. That's 1 out of 4. Let's do it. So step 2 is complete. We have new brake pads and new rotors all the way around the vehicle. So each wheel, all 4 wheels have new brake pads and rotors. So that's very good. Now that we have that complete, let's go ahead and make sure the motor is healthy by giving it an oil change. To do an oil change, first thing you want to do is take off the oil cap and pull the dipstick. Once you do that, go ahead and locate your oil filter. Take off the oil filter and replace it with the new one, but make sure you put some oil, a little bit of oil in the new filter, and then rub it around the seal. That's going to help with the installation. Go ahead and put that on and make sure it's hand tight. You don't really necessarily need tools. Then you go ahead and locate your drain plug. Slide your catch pan up underneath to catch the oil. Take out the drain plug and let it drain out. Once it's done draining, go ahead, put the drain plug back in, tighten it down, and go ahead and add oil. Make sure you add the recommended amount of oil in your car. I think I'm adding about 5 quarts to this one. Then start the car for about 30 seconds, cut it off. Check the dipstick, make sure it's level, make sure it's full, and then you're good to go. You did your oil change. Okay, so step 3 is complete. We got the oil change done, man. The motor is sounding real healthy right now. We got the exhaust done. We got the brakes done all the way around. And we have the motor healthy. We got the oil change. So with that being said, let's give it a good detail.
Cannot lie for none of you, long as I know who I am. I'm in control. God got his hand on my soul, and if I land, then he got the remote. Made it as far as a miracle. Anything less is cynical. Saying true, I can't lie in your interview. Tell the truth while you lie with your interview, and your acting is so hypocritical. In control, nothing more than the minimum. Can't stop now. I'ma grind till I'm close. I thank God how he held me down the most.
So after removing all the dog hair and buttering up the panels, the inside looks amazing. So it's safe to say that step is complete. So after I did the detail, I noticed that the back 2 tires were flat. So I decided to take it up to the tire shop and get them replaced. That was done, we was back on the road, but that set us back $120. Once driving, I noticed that the brake light was still on, so that's lead us to our next step, step 5. Having the ABS and traction control light on is usually 2 things. It's either the hub bearing or the wiring harness. Typically on the GM model, it's usually the wiring harness, so that's what we're going to check here. I got my own meter out and I'm going to check for a reading. On the passenger side of the vehicle, I have a good reading of 5 volts. So now I'm about to go to the driver's side of the vehicle, see if I get the same reading. Over here, I do not get the same reading, so we now located the problem. I'm going to go ahead and look at the wires. To do that, I'm just going to pull back the protective layer to check out the wires to see if I see any problems. Now that I have that out the way, we can see what the issue is. The wire is cut. But instead of being happy, I'm going to make sure I continue to look at the whole length of the wire just to make sure we don't have any more splices. So now we can go ahead and repair the wire. How we're going to do that is cut the dead end of the wire off and then expose the copper in the wire. But before we jump the gun, we want to make sure we grab our own meter and test it again just to see if the rest of the wire is good. So now we got a good reading, so that let us know we can continue with the repair. And then go ahead and insert both ends into the wire connector. You want to go ahead and make sure you crimp it down, make sure it's tight so you don't have any problems. Once you're done with that, on both ends, please make sure that the wires are stagnant. That's going to help with the movement while you're out there driving. That just means one wire is shorter than the other. Once you do that, break out your lighter and heat up the plastic on the connector. That's going to give you an airtight connection. Wrap up the area to protect it, and then go ahead and put it into the plastic wrapping as well. Once everything is fully protected, go ahead and put it in position on the car. Make sure you secure it with the clamps, and now only thing we have to do is go to the dash and see if it works. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if the hard work paid off. Okay, no lights. Let's see, did the ABI, did the traction, it did. Yes, sir. You guys, so we got every light off the dashboard, man. Major accomplishment. Yes, the red brake light was on because I had the emergency brake on, but it's not on anymore, so we good. We're moving right along. We got brand new tires on the car all the way around. We have brand new brake pads and rotors all the way around. We did the oil change and we did the detail in the inside of the car. Now, with that being said, we pretty much moving right along. We making good progress. So now we need to go ahead and do the outside of the car, which is go ahead and give it a good wash and bring this paint job back to life.
Hours in a day, what the fuck you gonna say? Pick a lane, man, you gotta choose one. It's what they used to tell me every day. Caught a few along the way, don't be afraid if you gotta lose one. I'm trying to take it higher, the boy is on fire. You preaching to the choir, you know that. Never been a liar, the boy is on fire. I'll take it to the wire, you know that. Reach back, had to grab me a hit. I'm on the clock, game time, it's like I'm drafting a pick. Like a genie, I could grant you a wish. I'm so drunk, I just might smoke something if they pass me the shit. I gotta slow down, plenty of it here to make it go around. They was going slow and so I drove around. Ain't no fucking question, course I hold it down. Course I hold it down.
Just like that, we all finished, completed the mission of restoring the Monte Carlo SS back to its glory days for the most part. Now it's time to put it for sale. After listing the car, it sold for $4,200, leaving us with a profit of $2,443, and that's how I turned this $1,100 car into a $4,200 car. If you like this video and want more of it, comment down below more of this content. Also, check out the similar process I did to a motorcycle.